republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call.
Here.
Ms. Handy?
Here.
Mr. Weippert?
Here.
Mrs. Turner?
Here.
Mrs. Jackson? Here. Mr. White?
Present.
Dr. Hall? Here. That's over.
And I'd like to welcome we have two board of supervisors in our audience tonight, Vanessa Johnson and Roger DeGeorge. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, first up, approval of the agenda.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the 3/19/2024 agenda. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Question? I'm sorry.
Point of information question, what's item 14.03?
Nothing. It was a placeholder for information that did not show up. As unanimous. Next up, we are here to recognize all of our beta students, and we are very proud of them. We're going to start with Arcadia High School. If they'd like to come on up.
Got me? A little crowded over here.
They can stand in front of you, Mr. Richard.
Oh, okay. You all can stand in the front. They're here to actually see you. They don't really care to see you. All right, so I'm Sean Shaeffer, principal at Arcadia High School, and I'm going to let Ms. Baker, our sponsored beta, talk about our students. They had their beta convention earlier in the school year. I talked about their achievements at our November meeting when I presented on the state of the school. But again, I'll let Ms. Baker and Dr. Moore Austin highlight how we did.
Well, the people were nominated for the national convention based on the leadership summit that we attended in October. Bernacia was selected as a Virginia leadership representative, so she'll be doing a lot of wonderful things during the summer. And the kids won for their collaboration connection and also for their service project. And the service project is to promote reading at Arcadia, because we want kids to read more and improve their literacy. So we have Sir reads a lot right here, and they're wearing their clocks because it's always time to read. So, and so let me introduce the people who are here. So we have Ashley Austin, we have Giovanni Crucepeda, Nash Colton, Everville Scott, Elena Matra, and Shamika Metos. Right? Dr. Austin is my co-sponsor. She's been great. It's been great having her.
Thank you all so much, and congratulations. It's a good-looking group. I'll say y'all brought the good-looking ones from Arcadia.
Well, you know, everybody in Arcadia is good.
Arcadia Metal. Everybody come on up, Arcadia Metal.
Esteemed board members, I am Metompkin, principal of Arcadia Middle School. Our beta sponsor here, Mrs. Liner, she's shy. So various competitions and brought home 5 awards. Jenny Pacifi won first place for her drawing. Danielle Robley won second place for her digitally enhanced photography. Joshua Tucker won third place with his design shoes in the accessorized design division. We also had our Quiz Bowl team made up of Porter, PA, Emily Carlton, Congratulations to all of our winners and competitors on a successful beta convention. We look forward to our winners competing at the National Beta Convention in Savannah, Georgia on June 9th through the 13th, 2024. Please mark your calendar.
Chincoteague High. Are you here, Chincoteague High School?
Chincoteague combines.
I'm sorry. Come on.
Good evening. I'm both proud and honored to present Chincoteague Combined School winners at this year's Beta Convention. But before I do, I want to recognize Jody Katsetos, our Beta sponsor. She's not shy, don't let her fool you. She's been a great teacher, role model, and a sponsor for all these students this year. Students, when I call your name, please step forward. Vera Breland, second place in jewelry, third place in small group performance, and premier performer. Julia Dustin, third place small group performance and premier performer. Riley Giddens, second place in on-site painting, third place small group performance, and premier performer. And Amaya Griffin, third place small group performance, and premier performer. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight.
Thank you all for being here. Nandua High School.
I've been told I have to use the microphone. Good evening. I'm Kim Giddens. I'm the principal of Nandua High School, and I'm just here to present Ms. Chelsea McQuiston, our beta sponsor, and our winner.
I'm a little shorter, sorry. I'm Ms. McQuiston. This is my second year as sponsor at Nandua Beta Club, and this year I think we did real good. So with me I have Virginia Tyler. She represented Nandua at Beta State Convention in February for the spelling bee. And she thought it was just written, and then we got there and she had to do like the actual spelling bee. So it was a surprise for all of us. But she did amazing, and she got third place, and she qualified for national convention. So we are super proud of her. And we came back with all kinds of ideas for next year, and we are super excited to go back next year. We've got a group that wants to do the, what they call it, living literature, so it's kind of like a wax museum. They were very excited about that. They want to do like a dance performance, and I said, well, you guys gotta plan this. I said, I'm not doing it. So we'll see what they come up with next year. We'll see if that fire is still in there. But we are very proud of Virginia, and we thank you very much for letting us come here tonight.
betas are coming up, I would like to thank the board for recognizing our betas tonight. And we do have quite a few students who strive to be well-rounded. So many of them were unable to attend tonight because they have softball and youth groups and are studying. We have quite a bit going on. And as a token of our appreciation, the beta members have put together a little thank you for our school board and Dr. Hall tonight that Ms. Blossom, one of our sponsors, is handing out. We would also want to thank Karen Taylor and Katie Farrell for taking on the task for bidding for our transportation to Savannah, Georgia, because we are going to Nashville. And because I feel that they deserve recognition, I will be reading the list of students who actually participated in the Leadership Summit or the state beta competition, as well as announcing those winners who are present today. If I call your name and you're present, please step forward so that you can be acknowledged. Sarah Augustine, Nevaeh Bailey, Reed Beck, Emily Blake, Kelly Brockmeyer, Sanaya Broughton, Lanaya Brown, Corinne Burrell, Grace Violet, Wyatt Chesser, Emma and Grace Deach, Emilio Destine, Sarah Dean, Journey Eater, Hudson Ford, Callie Georgilli and Finley Georgilli, Melinda Gordon, Talia Grimes, Hunter and Tanner Rubes, Ashlyn Johnson, Emlyn Johnson, Brooke Johnson, Alexandra Koneman, Benjamin Coltese, Preston Laird, Kenna Lopez Perez, Leela Lusk, Ashley Morales Chavez, Jeremy and Darley Ortiz Miguel, Isabella Panuco, Mason Payne, Alyssa Phillips, Isabella Ramirez Velasquez, Sadie Ryder, Brooklyn Smith, Melanie Smith, Peyton Smith, Lucas Dodgehill, Lillian Truckner, Connor Tyler, Diori Upshur, Helen Ventura Rolero, Mia Ventura, Nathan Wang, Jalea and Josiah Wharton, Layla Wheatley, Austin Yang, and Joy Yang. And at the Virginia Leadership Summit, the club and club members placed in first for Collaboration Connection. We had Sarah Diem, who was selected as the Junior Beta Leadership Representative for Virginia. At the Hampton Roads Virginia State Convention, our very own Alyssa Phillips opened and ran the entire session for the state of Virginia. Not to mention, at the end of the two-day convention, she announced another Nandua Middle School student as the new Virginia State Junior Beta Club President, Ms. Talia Grimes. And yet, we are not done. The club and club members also placed in first place for group talent, first place for campaign skit, first place to Ms. Emma Deach in color photography for her picture of the Niagara Falls. Second place in engineering. We had second place to Emily Johnson for solo, duo, and trio, where she sang and played the ukulele. Second place in scrapbooks. Third place to Mr. Reed Beck for 6th grade science. And third place for club training pin, for which is attached to your thank you bag. We wanted you to be able to sail along on our boards of adventure with us. So again, we want to say thank you for supporting our beta students and congratulate them on all the wonderful things that they have done. And I do apologize. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Ms. Blossom, Ms. Blake, and Ms. Phillips.
Thank you. Okay, I will just say we don't usually have this many people here. It's really nice to see so many people. So you all, we're here every first and third Tuesday. Feel free to come back anytime. It's now time for the board to go into closed session to hear legal and personnel matters. So I'm going to ask everyone to step out into the hallway for a bit. The board will now convene to open meeting. Can I have a certification of closed meeting?
Whereas the Accomack County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative record vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas Section 2.1-3771D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that Accomack County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, One, only public business matters properly accepted, open meeting requirements under Virginia law were discussed. And two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened or heard, discussed, or considered.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Is there a motion on the readmission cases? 7.01, 7.02.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the readmission cases of 03, 19, 24, 01, and 02.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there, can I get a motion on 7.03, 04, and 05?
Madam Chair, I move that we upheld the long-term suspensions for cases of 03, 19, 24, 03, and 04.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Two abstentions. Two abstentions for 7.04, and we'll do 7.05.
Yes. I move that we amend the case number 03, 19, 24, 05 as discussed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Is there, anyone like to make a motion on the personnel list?
I move to approve the personnel list as given us this evening.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public comment. Is there any public comment? Not tonight. Okay. All right, up next is the approval of the minutes from the meeting from March 5th. I'm sure everyone's had a chance to review those. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from 305, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion for the vouchers?
I move to approve the vouchers.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next up, we have a group, and Dr. Paul was nice enough to give us a little summary. That 12.01 is a summary of the policies. So if you have any questions, contact your staff person, and we can discuss further at the next meeting. So everybody look those over. And then the second readings, we have, do we need to separate these, or do we vote on each other? Separate, okay. First up, we have still staff health employee assistance program. So this is great. We're going to move forward with our employee assistance program, and it looks like it's been modified a little bit.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the staff health policy as presented. Or excuse me, the employee assistance program.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And next up, the staff hiring policy.
Madam Chair,
Is there are you making a
I
motion?
move to send or refer item 13.02 to committee. I propose that a 4-person committee do some additional research, compare existing policies around conflict of interest, that a 4-person committee consists of 2 staff people and 2 board members will come back to the next meeting.
Second.
Who's the second?
Okay, so there, this is not really on the agenda, but there is a motion to not approve this and have a committee, send this out to a committee. And there is a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed?
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, can I have the ayes, please? Justin, got it.
Okay.
13.02, staff hiring policies. Is there a motion? Just did it. No, we did recess, which was to send it out to committee. And there was, that failed, to send it, to not vote on this, but to send it out to committee. So now we're going to vote on this.
I move to approve the staff hiring procedures as presented this evening.
Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the staff hiring procedures. All in favor? Aye. Show of hands.
Yeah, yes, who was the staff, please?
Glenn, I believe. Dr. Shaeffer is up next with the community college. I'm sorry, our audience has dwindled quite a bit for your presentation.
That's okay, we're being recorded, so we're in great shape. My name's Jim Shaeffer. I serve as president of your Eastern Shore Community College. And I appreciate the opportunity to come give you an update on the college, as well as what we are doing in cooperation with the Accomack schools. So let me start by talking about the health of your college. And let's be clear, it is everyone's college on the Eastern Shore. Our numbers in terms of enrollment have steadily gone up since FY19. And to give you an example of that, in 19 we had about 360 full-time enrollments. And what that means is that takes all of our credit hours, divides it by 12, and that gives us FTE. Today, we have 420 FTE, and that's an amazing feat. The other thing that's going on is that if you take a look at enrollments across the whole Virginia Community College system, your Eastern Shore Community College is up 17% for FTE and up 17% for enrollment. And that's pretty cool because the smallest college in the Virginia Community College system has the largest gain of anybody else within the system. The other marker that we have to show how healthy the college is that we take a look at how are we supporting our students. Back in 2019, we supported 60 students through our foundation for about $60,000. These last 2 years, we have supported 300 students with about $300,000. And what's important to note about that $300,000 is it came from people here on the shore. And so we appreciate that support. Our relationship with Accomack County Public Schools is, to use a word, excellent. We have a great relationship with Dr. Hall and her staff, and this is particularly true when it comes to our dual enrollment. I asked for a count of dual enrollment for this semester, and Dr. Hall, I don't know if you know this, but you have 185 enrollments in dual enrollment this semester. Not only is that impressive, but it is the largest amount of any school district on the shore. So congratulations with that. Now, why is dual enrollment important? Well, a lot of research has been done, and here are some of the things that they found. That a student who's been dual enrolled has a statistically higher cumulative college GPA for their first year as a full-time college student, as compared to that were not in a dual enrolled situation. They have statistically significant higher persistence. And you know how important that is. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about, where are you? Students dropping out. Dual enrolled students, by and large, don't drop out. And then finally, they are more likely to graduate from the community college within 3 years. And so what does that mean? That means they've saved themselves money, and they've got out there and they're now moving on to a career. And oh, by the way, one of the things that those of us who are parents, don't forget about the financial impact that this has.
When you're at ESCC, you're spending about 1/3 the cost at any of the four-year institutions in the state. And so it's just a bargain. And the one thing that I heard tonight, and I'll quote, that you go to community college not because it's the second choice. You go there because it's the best choice. Which reminds me of something else that's not in my notes, but I do want to remind you all, is that all parents who have graduating sons or daughters received a letter from the college telling them about a program called Take Two. Anybody hear about Take Two? You don't count? And you don't count. Well, actually, you both do really count. But Take Two is a program we started 3 years ago. And for every graduating senior on the shore, they are invited to take 2 classes for free during the summer. 2 classes for free. And that program has just chugged along, and I'll tell you why. And that is that so many of our students are able to receive financial aid, particularly federal financial aid, that we're just closing a very small gap. And so we've been able to support students for the last 3 years with this Take Two program. So one of the goals of the college has been to brand ourselves as the Aerospace College of the Eastern Shore. And you may think, well, that's a bit audacious, Shaeffer, what are you thinking? Well, the reality is we're already there, because, and Lisa knows this very, very well, if you take a look at folks who are up at Wallops, you can't throw a rock without hitting somebody who is an ESCC grad. I'll tell you a quick story. Went up for a launch for the last Antarian, let me get that right? And so I was invited up there by Ted Mercer, who directs Virginia Space. And I get there and I park the car, and there's these 5 gentlemen sitting in the back of a truck, open bed. And I can't help myself, I just do these things. So I walked up and I said, so anybody here go to Eastern Shore? 3 of the 5 gentlemen said, yeah, I did. And that's the number of Eastern Shore students that we have up there. So one of the things that I'm very pleased with in working with Dr. Hall and her crew is that we continue to find ways to develop programs and workplace experiences so that we can put our students on the aerospace path. That's where the good paying jobs are. Dr. Hall, you asked that I might address our major programs. Hands down, our major program is healthcare. And I don't think it's any secret to anybody in this room how important the healthcare, getting people into healthcare is. We offer nursing assistant, LPN, to to phlebotomy. Was in a conversation, what happens on our campus is that you can finish your LPN, and then we work with TCC, so you can finish your RN on the shore. The person who teaches that got a hold of me and said, would you be willing to look at partnering with UVA to offer the BSN? So stay tuned to see whether or not that actually goes through. We have launched a new program in education. It's a transfer program. Very important to do this because we need teachers. And so we can get them the first 2 years and work with ODU to get them the second 2 years. And then secondly, we're exploring the start of a engineering degree program that would transfer. And of course, if we think about what's happening up at Wallops, having engineers is a very important thing. Another thing that's happened that is one of the most exciting things that's happened since I've been president, and that is we received a Title III grant from the Department of Education from the feds. This is a 5-year grant, about $1.8 million. We are starting for the first time a career services program called Contact to Career. And we've been able to hire, with the dollars, 2 people to start to run this program. And one of the things that they're doing, they're out meeting with businesses and trying and helping to set up internships, workplace experiences for our students. So the last thing I'll touch on is I've been talking a lot about this idea of starting athletics at Eastern Shore Community College. And you probably wonder, well, really athletics, why would you do that? Well, I'll talk a little bit more about what type of athletic event we're talking about. But the reason we will do that is because, number one, it's a retention tool. And if you want to play, you've got to take full time schedule, and you've got to do well. So it's retention. Secondly, it is a way to help our students stay on the shore. So the sport that we're looking at is soccer. And with soccer, you don't have to be here very long to find out that the high school kids here on the shore play really good soccer. And so thus far what I've done is I've gone to the Accomack Board of Supervisors and I've asked for $50,000. I've gone down to Northampton and I've asked for $25,000. Tomorrow, less than 24 hours from now, I'll be asking for 3 years of $25,000 from my foundation. And so I'm hopeful that we'll have some sort of announcement during this summer. But again, it's all about how do we keep these students on the shore? And how cool would that be, those really talented athletes, to be able to spend 2 more years playing here, right here on the shore. So that's my update, and happy to take questions if the board has any. Yes, sir.
You said something about your engineering program. What, do you know what type of classes you may be offering?
It would be a general engineering.
Okay.
And then at that point, the student would transfer, and if they chose to go into electrical or whatever, they could do that. And that would be true of tech or ODU. JMU runs a general engineering already right now, so they could go right into that program too.
So what a lot of prerequisites.
Exactly, exactly. Very general.
Great.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
You bet.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Financial report.
Good evening. I have the federal program report up there. I can't put the other one up because I'm not running back and forth. But anyway, we're still at a good time of the year that we are looking now. Carlton West is beginning to work with the federal program coordinators, and we are looking at forecasting our expenditures so that we meet the closing dates on all of these. I think you can also see that the dust is cleared and all the reimbursements are beginning to catch up. So then looking at the operating budget, which I don't have up there because I put the first one up. This is also, like we've talked about in the past and Mr. Taylor and I discussed, this is a work in progress. What you'll see on here next month that isn't on here this month are like the estimated remaining utilities, diesel, fuel, that type of thing, but everything else is complete on here. One of the things I did want to point out is even though it looks like operations and maintenance has a negative balance, it's because they have completed in their expenditure line, the operations and maintenance in this fiscal year has completed $2.5 million worth of carry forward projects. So you would add the 2.5 back to that 1.8 that it's showing that it is negative. And we have a lot of good, I know Bobby's here for another reason, but we have a lot of good things going on in building and grounds. And these are projects that this board approved between Tangier Roof, Therapeutic Playgrounds, any number of projects. They've been working on them steadily all year. So that's why their expenditures appear to be negative, but 2.5 million of that is for carry forward projects that the board approved. Are there any other questions? Or any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we do not have any agenda item, school board items. Mr. Fidel, would you like to start us off?
None for me.
I have 11 letter that I'm passing around. I'm also going to provide a copy to Mr. Ted Shockley, the editor of the Eastern Shore Post, to help ensure that my sharing is considered and made even further public. The proposed policy changes on tonight that at this point have passed around hiring procedures, an adult as opposed to a student-centered matter, troubles me greatly. I sent an email to inquire, as is our practice, about why the language, the specific language that was proposed that says basically that board members cannot serve on staff hiring interview panels if you're in an organization that one of the candidates belongs to. Using myself as an example, I find the policy change and its vagueness and quite frankly its ignorance potentially discriminatory. When I say using myself as an example, there are organizations that I belong to, such as the Federal Women's Program, that are based on gender. There are organizations that I belong to that are also based on religion. If I am prevented from being on an interview panel for an Accomack Public Schools interview panel, and I'm discriminated against, there will be consequences. This is one example, the most recent example, the passing of that policy change on tonight, where the incompetent and inexperienced board leadership has the ongoing potential to affect our recruitment for positions in our county and has the potential to impact retention. People that I talk to who are employed in Accomack County Public Schools are tired of the division among us, continuing to insert ourselves as board members in the day-to-day operations, which should be managed by the superintendent, Dr. Rhonda Hall. In my experience, continues to serve to undercut her authority and that of the staff. I assert that board members continually coming in and our votes continually being 5-4 is an indication that discussions, be they one-on-one or what have you, are occurring outside of meetings and I, for one, am not consulted. I look forward to the point when we as a board get back to focusing on student-centered matters and stop promoting things that are self-serving.
No, I was just happy to see the additional Beta Club members come out tonight and announce the awards that they received at the convention. And so let you all know that I will be at the convention with the students. Yes.
A couple of things. I know we've all been talking about the cell phone policy, and I want to let you all know the cell phone policy committee is going to meet in April, and they will come up with some recommendations and bring those to the board. And in regards to the new and updated hiring policy, for those of you who don't know, our division has a long history of cronyism and nepotism, and the policy was updated to prevent cronyism and nepotism from continuing. It is also, the purpose of it is to avoid any conflicts of interest. And we want to hire the best people for the job. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Mr. King.
Speaking, I guess, of unaccounting authority, we as a board are the ones that are in charge of the Accomack County Public School System, which our employee is Dr. Hall. And we had asked for a certain person to be here this evening, and it was denied. And I don't appreciate that. And I think next time when the board member asks for somebody to be here, as long as we can fit it on the agenda, they should be here to participate in the meeting for questions that the board may have. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. White?
I just got, I know it's an agenda item, but I feel we board members, we need to take out the micromanagement of the schools. Yes, we do have the authorization to go to schools and visit, but I don't see why we need to have unrestricted access without badges. I feel when we go to check into the office, right there, we got unrestricted access. We don't need to make it without badges have unrestricted access. No matter what, we still have to check in at the front. There's a liability if you just go there unannounced and something happens to you. Now, the school is going to be liable for your incident. I feel we should not even think about a policy having unrestricted badges. That is the reason that we have that badging system. It's all about security of our children. And the last thing I'm going to say, I am hoping that we can get over these adult issues. Our children are really stressing right now. We need to get on their safety and well-being. That's all I have to say.
Jason?
I'd like to say that I went to the CAD committee meeting. It was my first one. Learned a lot. So the Special Olympics at Arcadia High School is going to be April 19 to 10. So definitely encourage everybody to go there. Should be, I think, 300 people maybe or something. That's what Jennifer Anderson told me. I would say about the food service guide to Dr. Johnson's email. So I was the one who requested him. And when we as a board request somebody to come, they should come. Because I have questions. And it's pretty simple that the food service sucks pretty much. And that we as a board need to get a hold of it, whatever, help Brandon, not humiliate him or anything else, help him make a better food program for school. Because school lunches are terrible. And that's pretty much it. So, if you have a question, or anybody else has a question, whatever, then everybody has the right to have questions. And that was me who had a question about getting him here, to ask him what he has done to improve the lunches and the breakfasts for these kids. And I promise you, probably nothing has been done. So, that's what I got to say.
I would just go on to congratulate the kids from the beta program. I think all our kids, primary school, middle school, high school, all done fantastic this year. There was a lot of them showed up. I don't know how the school districts do, but I feel like we had a pretty good showing and our kids did really well. I'd just like to congratulate them one more time.
Okay, up next, Mr. Bennett is going to talk to us about the IP building bid.
It could be risky because I got the button clicker thing here again, and you all know I'm not very talented with it from past experiences at board meetings. Just a quick update on the technology building. We had put this renovation out to bid. We received 2 bids. Beecham Construction provided a bid of $920,000 to renovate the building. And I'll kind of go over this first, and I got a few things. And then Delmarva Veteran Builders, their bid came in at $675,000. We had alternates for both these for other work, some roofing work and something, some utility stuff inside. The alternates for both came in $21,314 for Beecham and $8,500 for Delmarva. Would you say I have to do quick to go forward? Okay, yep. All right, I'm just going to go through this really quick, just to kind of show you all, kind of where we on this and everything. We worked with Becker Morgan out of Salisbury on the plans for this. We included Jack Bowden, who's the IT coordinator on this, to kind of meet the needs of that organization up there and give them more space. This is a 30-some page document. All I pulled out was kind of some of the things that, to kind of go through. Like, this is kind of the site plan, which is, shows what is there now. The only change that you see is the grade-in area that is the drive-through of the old bank building, which would be closed in and become interior storage and a place where they could set up Chromebooks and things like that. This kind of goes to the demolition of the building. In that back right corner, I guess y'all are looking at it on there, so it'll be back right corner, there's a vault there from the old bank that right now ends up being a fair amount of unusable square footage in that building. So that was going to be removed in demolition, and about all the interior walls are going to be demoed. And then I think next I had the floor plan that they had came up with for working with Jack's group, and you can see an office, some workstations, a data center, and I know you probably can't read it on that screen, but there's a data center where the servers and things like that would go. Right now, there's servers in Arcadia High School in one area, and there's servers at the school board area right now. This would bring everything into the technology building. All the servers would be located there. That way they, when they got a problem, they're right there where it's at. Like I said, the drive-through would be closed in. It would be both for shipping and receiving and for setup of Chromebooks and other things like that, and the various workstations in there. This was the demolition plan for the mechanical. Mechanical up there is a big issue. The HVAC system was failing anyway, so this was something that we had already kind of planned on replacing. This goes through just kind of mechanical stuff, and then this is kind of the proposed schedule that we were talking about working with. Once we award the contract, we want to start in early April, which is getting close now. Substantial completion by August 30th and final completion by September 30th. That is a trigger date because $420,000 of this project is CARES money, ESSER 3, I believe it is. So $420,000, but that's got a deadline. It's got to be spent by September 30th. But that's $420,000 of this. And if you take, and I'm going to use Delmarva's bid since it was the low bid on this project. You take their $675,000 bid. When you look at the replacing the roof, it's $50,200. The vault demo and everything associated with that is about $33,000. The drive-through demo on that is about $1,700, and HVAC, to put a new HVAC system in this, and I'm going to use their number, but I'm working with them because I think this number is still high, is $152,000. You take all that out of it, you end up at $439,000. And the other $235 for those items that needed to be done to the building regardless. Take that out, we end up with the $439. We can amend our CARES request for the additional $19,933 and have $439,000 of this project money come through CARES, and the other $230-some-thousand would come out of operating expense that's already in there. And that's kind of the breakdown. I hope that answers some of the breakdown questions on cost and everything. So if there are questions, I'll try my best to answer them. But this is kind of, where it shakes down right now as far as where the bids came in. And I'll be the first to say that, yes, the bids came in higher than I expected, but every bid that's come in since I've been here, coming out of COVID, has come in higher than I expected. And I think that everybody knows that we're paying more for everything right now. Building materials especially are high still. Labor market is high because it's limited labor force out there. So that's kind of driving factor to some of these high costs. Questions?
I don't know if you can answer this question. The question I have is the infrastructure moving to servers. Did they give an estimated on it? When are they going to do that? Because September 3rd, we already be in school. So the servers have to be down for a certain amount of time, especially moving to 2 locations. So
you're correct, they will. We would coordinate that prior to school starting. That would be on the front end of this, is getting that stuff where over the summertime, we could do it in partial stages, get the Arcadia stuff moved there, get the school board stuff moved there, get it up. I mean, I'm not going to, dispute it. It's aggressive schedule, and it's, we're a school system that is dependent on computers. It's got to happen. And everybody involved in this, from the contractors that bid it to the architects, engineers, everybody knows the importance of what has to happen with regard to that, because we've got to be up and running when school starts. Those target dates, that's why substantial completion August 30th is pretty solid. It's got to be there. I'm fine with the final completion September 30th. My goal was to have it inside of that. Delmarva provided me with a schedule that if we start early April, they feel confident that they're looking at substantial completion in July. So that puts us, possible final completion in August, which would really be wonderful. Anything else?
So is the technology department not moving when Accomack primary is done? This is a building we're gonna keep forever? I mean, because this seems like an awful lot of money if we're gonna move them.
I would think at this point, and this is just me and working with the architects on both sides, I would think the better space use would be keep them where they're at. I think to move, and this is just coming from an operational side, I think to put them in the primary school, you're tying up real estate for potential growth for new programs and things like that, where your technology, you're talking about a big square footage imprint in that building if you do that, to give them the amount of space they need. Even with this renovation, Jack feels like it's very adequate to meet his people's needs, but we all know that computer stuff and everything continues to expand every year. So I mean, if we were to put them in a primary school, you're gonna take, say right now, 2,000 square foot. You'd have to dedicate to that department to go there. And you've still got this much or more cost to do that. My suggestion when we start talking about Accomack primary is to not put IT or technology in that building, just for the potential of having it for program needs and things like that.
Okay, now with these grants, can we get another grant next year? Could we do $400,000 worth of work this year and $400,000 worth next year?
This is CARES money. This all came out of COVID. So this was ESSER 3, which is the final part of CARES. We funded a lot of stuff through CARES 1, 2, and 3, all of our chillers and things like that. But the CARES money, and Beth didn't probably help me. CARES money, September 30th, is it. That's done, and it won't. It's a federal program that particular funding source will be no more.
Beth, is that correct that the 420 is CARES Act, that we have to spend by the 30th, and it's earmarked for technology?
It's earmarked specifically for this building. And when we first did the budget for this, we knew that with this building, and this is done several years ago, I don't know, at least
2021.
Yeah, 2021. We knew from the get-go that, okay, the way we wrote it into the grant is we needed it for space to deploy the computing devices, and that we knew that the building needed a new roof, new HVAC structure, and removal of the vault, not considering that. So from the very beginning, we scheduled this, that part would be in operations, and that the actual getting the space to deploy the computing devices and all the increased needs due to COVID would be why we did the remodeling and expansion of the building. So yes.
So we're somewhat stuck. So I guess if we decide not to go forward with this project, we would have to return that money.
You would not have to return the money if you came up with another way to spend that much money in this time frame.
On technology, or could we build the new gyms with it? The
We're
gyms
not far enough along in that, well, this is Bobby's thing.
We're not
I just know
far-
from sitting in the
would
meetings,
never-
we're not far enough along that we could complete that in this time.
Jason.
How many square foot are at that building?
It's right at 2,000, at 1980, something like that. And then we're going to add, when we close in the drive-through and everything, adds, I think it's, I don't know, 400 or something like that. I'm not sure right now. I've got too many numbers in my small brain.
For that square footage, spending $230,000 more when we can use that money for our kids or something else, I'm having a hard time getting on board with spending that. Like the fact that we can get a new roof and things like that. Could they utilize the building that way? We do new roof, new HVAC system, and use it currently for what they need to do with their equipment and whatever they have to do with Chromebooks.
Mr. Taylor, you do realize that they're deploying these Chromebooks in Arcadia High School after hours because there's not enough room.
They don't have room for the current functions that they provide for the school system in their space. And I mean, that's a legit deal. They don't have room. They're set up in Arcadia to do it after Arcadia's out of school. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a building. It's not really set up great. I mean, I think when it came to be a technology building, they did as little as possible to get it up and running, and that's the way they work. Technology stuff and computers has become a big part of education in our schools. I mean, we all know that. And I think that, providing them with ample space to do their jobs and do their jobs well is a direct benefit to the children of Mackinac County Public Schools. And I think at the end of the day, only reason I'm here to do what I do is for the kids in this county. I got no other agenda but to be able to do the best job I can do for the kids in this county. That's it, bottom line. And when I can't do that, y'all don't need me anymore. Plain and simple.
I think there's some concern that it's not a very nice building. And $650 is quite a lot of money. And I mean, I asked myself, could we just abandon that building and take our $650 and buy something new, and then we could spend that right away. And we could avoid the whole repair, new roof, everything process. And I'm also concerned that we're spending $650 or whatever on a building that houses, it's not used for children or students, it's 3 employees. And about the computers, at the end of this year, unless I'm wrong, the computers don't all go back to the technology department. The computers live at their schools. So we don't need to build a giant building for 5,000 laptops because all the laptops live at their schools.
Right. But when all new equipment comes in, it goes there.
Right.
And that's where it's set up. Before it can get to a school, it's got to go there to get set up. But the Chromebooks and everything goes there first before it gets to
And it's
the
not
school.
just for 3 employees, even though our individual, TCS.
IRT.
Even though they're stationed in school, all the parts and the inventory of all their parts and supplies is kept in this building. So, and I don't want to say the names, but the computer techs that repair this stuff, they are in and out of there all the time. They're not necessarily based there like the 3 are, but they are in and out of the building all the time.
If we confine our spending to the grant money, what would get done, what would not get done?
The HVAC roof and vault demo wouldn't get done. And if
We need a roof.
we need a roof and we need HVAC, the vault removal is pretty insignificant too, because I mean, right now, it ties up a lot of space. It's not used, it's closed, and from what I understand, nobody even knows how to open it. So I mean, it's closed. I've been told it's mold and mildew, and I've never seen the inside, so I'm just telling you what I've heard. I don't know anything about it. So those items wouldn't get done. The only thing that would get done would be the $420,000 of the renovation part of it, which would include moving the servers and all that. But we don't fix the HVAC. The last thing we want to do is put servers in that building. So, because then we've got a lot bigger problem than a renovation.
And the roof leaks.
Yeah, and the roof leaks. It's,
So for 420, we could not have the roof repaired?
no, that's not, that was outside of that.
That's not written in the CARES Act.
Oh.
No, that's not written. It's for expansion and to have room to deploy. It was written to respond to COVID. And the roof is never written in the CARES grant, nor was the HVAC or the vault.
It just seems like this building has a lot of problems, and it's not at all functional for what it needs to be functional for. I just it's overwhelming. It just sounds easier just to buy a new structure.
I can't really speak on that part because I don't know enough about real estate and Accomack and what's going to be available and everything like that, And I mean, locationally, it's tied to 2 of our campuses, where it sits in close proximity to Chincoteague schools, It's got some benefits, and I mean, it's got some pros and some cons. The condition it's in is a con, no doubt.
Couldn't you possibly add on to the primary school for this, or no? I mean, for that money?
I think the problem is
It's gotta be by
the September 30th deadline.
That's kind of the thing that impacts that. And, you know, again, you start adding on to that project, you're adding dollars to it as well. And I mean, you spend the you know, 235 of our money there, you're gonna spend it one place or the other. It's gonna be there. And then again, you ask yourself at the end of the day, is technology better suited in the primary school on the administration level, or is it better suited as off-site like it is now in a functioning, you know, building that meets the needs of what they got?
So people are at those now or not?
Yes, they work, there's I think 3 that work in there full time, that's their location, and then the other techs are in and out of there quite a bit.
Like I say, I understand where he's coming from. It would be a good idea to have all the servers in one location, because they're gonna have one room dedicated just for that with AC. They're separate from what they're gonna use. And if anything happens, they will be able to fix it then and there versus now, if it's they don't know if it happened at the other place, and they have to go and fix it. But here, everything's there, plus they won't have to, like I say, it's, right now they're working at night to take care of the situation. Now they'll be able to work during the day, and like I say, I know it's a little expensive. Like I say, that vault, I understand, because I see another building's got one, and yeah, it's a sore, so it takes away space. And I was looking at the picture, it's not just 3 offices, I think it's 4 that they were having up there. So it gives the techs a place to go to. And I just feel I know it's a little expensive right now. I feel that is cheaper compared to what we had to spend to get our building. And we had to build from scratch, and like I said, we budgeted one thing and it went above that. That's why we had to go to Richmond to get the money to just fill the building. This, I feel, is cheap compared to what any other building, like I say, the other company was 3 times that. So, and for what we get, it would actually help the IT department. So, that's what.
One thing I'd add is regard to the servers. You know, servers are things, you know, they should be in a secure location. I'm not saying that they're not secure right now where they're at in the school board office or in Arcadia High School, but if a door gets left open at Arcadia High School and, you know, kids are inquisitive, they go in there and start pulling stuff loose, they don't know what it is. School board, I mean, that one there is basically in a closet where people pass through there all the time. Not that anybody's gonna mess with it, but I'm walking through there drinking my coffee and I trip and all of a sudden my coffee's all over the server up there. I mean, it's one of those things to put our servers in a safe, secure location. The way Jack's got it designed, Jack's got card access to the building and then got separate card access into the server room. He wants to make sure it's secure as it should be. So, I mean, you know, I think putting it in a building and doing everything there are benefits to it. I'm not going to be the one to say, no, this is a great price. No, it's expensive. It's just, and it is what it is. And I think that you all are going to see over the coming year when I bring you prices on some of these other projects we're talking about, like the gymnasium, auxiliary gyms and things like that. It's going to be a lot of sticker shock. I'm already finding that out now. So, I mean, you know, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I would have never dreamed in the construction market, and I've been involved in it for 35 plus years now, that I'd ever seen prices escalate like they have in the last 3 years, coming out of COVID and now post-COVID kind of. It's going to challenge us in Accomack County budget-wise on some of these projects, and we're going to have to probably really get creative for funding opportunities, grants, and things like that to make these things reality. Because there's no doubt about it, especially these auxiliary gyms, these kids need them. They're needed. So, I mean, you know, I think those of you that know I've been here like 3 years, I don't bring much frivolous stuff in front of the board. I mean, what I bring here is things that are real, things that will benefit the kids here and benefit the county. And I'm hoping over the next couple of years we can materialize some of these things, the gymnasiums and stuff like that, and make them reality. Do you have another question?
Yeah, so the vault, is it like one big open space or?
Well, I don't know, because I've never seen on inside of it. I'm just gonna imagine being a bank vault, that it probably, you go in, it's got safety, security box, safety deposit boxes on the sides and everything, but I've not seen it.
I'm thinking if you took that stuff out and made the server room in the vault.
I don't think you'd ever be able to control the climate in there.
Okay.
Being a steel structure like that and everything, I don't think it's big enough either for all the servers, but I think you would really be challenged on your climate control within that. That's just the humidity and things like that that are.
People put their valuables and stuff and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, their valuables don't generate heat.
Sure.
So I mean, you got that heat load from your servers, and that's one of the complexities right now, and that's one of the reasons this HVAC cost is a lot higher than I think it should be. I've already kind of told them that we've got to go back to the drawing board on that and come up with a better solution, because I think there's better ways and less expensive ways to do that part of it. But I think the vault would probably not work. I'm not an expert on it, but I don't think it would.
Any more questions?
That's what we can put it right there.
Do we need a vote on this?
We need a vote to award the bid.
Well, do you think the 30 days that they're showing for the final completion, that's when August 30th and September 30th is when they're going to be moving the servers and getting them up and ready?
My goal for the servers is the servers be in place and everything operational during substantial completion, not a final completion. They need to be on the substantial completion, one of the front end deals. One of the first things that's going to happen is the roof and HVAC. That's the first two things, because I mean, we don't want to start that work and move servers in and not have HVAC and not have a dry building. So the first two things will be that. The interior renovations will go pretty quickly on the demo, and then get the server part of it framed up, ready to go, and then schedule and move equipment. That's going to work real close. Jack's people will have to work with the company that's involved in it. So, but that, and then once they're in place, Jack's folks will get them onboarded, the whole deal set back up where we're fully operational, well beyond school start. I mean, final completion, September 30th. Servers better be online long before that, because I mean, if not, I've got a problem, and I'm looking at 9 of them. So, I don't want that to be the case, but we need them up and running.
And where will the servers be while the construction's going on?
They'll stay where they're at. What'll happen is we'll get that space ready, because I mean, you got so many 12-month staff still working during, we'll probably, and we've not really nailed it down time-wise, but we'll probably be a week, maybe 10 days without the servers. Hopefully we can do that during a part of the summer that's, least disruptive to 12-month people that are still working and stuff like that. But we know there will be downtime during that, but we'll leave them in place, operational, until it's time to move them. Then we'll move them to the finished space, get them up and running, and keep our fingers crossed that everything comes back up the way it should and fully operational.
Usually they move that situation, they will move half first and the other half be supported. So there will be, a certain area will be down, but one section will be up, depending on whoever they move first got the most servers.
And since we got servers in both 2 locations, that's, we'll leave one there, get one set up, move the other. It's gonna be a challenge. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna be a challenge, but I mean, it's complexities with growth. And I guess what I am looking for is, an approval to move forward with awarding the contract and a notice to proceed to Delmarva Veteran Building.
Is there a motion to move forward with the technology building contract?
I make a motion, we accept the bid from the vendor and support it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? 7-2.
Obviously, yeah.
You were a yes, not just me?
One opposed?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, building access. School board members may have access to school buildings. Any school board member wishing to have their badge activated may do so. Is there a motion?
I move to have our badges to have the voting access.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4. Addition of student representative to the school board.
Okay. As you're aware.
I did address something?
Did we address it?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In the interest of safety, law enforcement officers, state police, sheriff's office, and town police officers shall have their own key access badge to the school building so they may respond promptly to a school in the event of an emergency.
I make a motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
That we accept the recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Question?
Yes.
Who was the second?
Um,
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
That's okay. Question? Isn't there a policy that all the buildings have by safety codes and fire marshal that they have a lockbox with the key for all schools? Do y'all have that?
No.
After hours access?
Most of the people that are listed in the first part, law enforcement officer, Virginia State Police and all them, they already have a badge that will give them access, so that's not anything new to them. The only town police is the only one that does it. Now, when you say town police on this, so that was the first one, yes. Does that mean Foxley Town, Hallwood Town, all of them have a town police? So will all of them have access to all the buildings? Because you're going to have a lot of access to buildings out there. If things get lost, then we're going to have a problem with people having access. But law enforcement officers already do have access to our buildings.
The state police?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I checked with Jack, they already do.
I checked with the state police and I checked with every town chief in Accomack County. None of them have school cards to get into any of our schools. And it's not about access at any given time. I mean, I trooper here for 6 years and I came back from an investigation and I had a card to get in Northampton County Public Schools in case of emergencies. When I went to Northampton Public Schools to visit, I didn't use it, walked in the front door, went to the office, asked the principal if it minded if I walked around or maybe walk around with him or her, or, you know, go during lunchtime sometimes and socialize with the kids, but I also learned the schools in case of an emergency. But I can promise, I talked to the troopers and every chief for every town. And I know every town doesn't have a school, Dr. Hall, but these guys, these men and women can be riding back from court. You know, the chief of police in Hancock has a take-home car and he lives on Chincoteague. He passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 schools. I mean, I'm a plan for the worst, hope for the best type of guy.
When I asked the technology person who does this, he is the one who, and that was in the meeting, he's the one who said they did have access to it.
Well, I just talked to them all, you know, I guess it was 8 or 9 days ago before I asked to have this put on the agenda, because that was always a concern of mine, and you know, what happens when we need to get in. Because when something bad happens, you can't necessarily guarantee that somebody will be in the office open that door for them.
I have a question, Madam Chair. So to the hearing everything and acknowledging, to the race concern, I'm wondering what others are thinking about the race concern with there being a plethora of access available in the event that keys are lost. I just see opinions about that. When in an emergency, I'm thinking that conceivably it may, there may times be instances where the town police would be the first to respond.
Especially on Chincoteague.
I just wondering again if folks have thoughts.
I'm hoping, I would think, I don't know, not really a badge expert, but I would think much in the same way that we have staff come and go. We have teachers come and go. And I would think that however their badges are managed, the police officers' badges would be managed in the same manner.
I spoke to all of them and I said that it's not a free rein, like, give Mr. Neal the badge and I quit, give Mr. Weippert the badge. I said, I would advocate that they go to Dr. Hall's office, have their picture taken, and have their picture put on a badge that was assigned to them. Because I would hope when you open the door, it registers it somewhere that says, hey, Mr. Neal opened the door, front door, 8:05 a.m. I mean, and I'm sure that's what's happening. So, yes, it's not a free-for-all, Dr. Johnson. It's, they have to, when I was still a trooper and I got a badge to VDOT. Well, I went to VDOT, had my picture taken, had everything done, and that badge was assigned to me. And when I retired, that badge had to be turned back in. It wasn't to reissued to somebody else, it was turned back into VDOT.
I'm sure the teachers probably do the same thing. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think my question and my concern is why she was told one thing and he was told something else.
That is interesting. That's not for us to decide, though, I don't think.
Well, I think, so if it's not, I can't vote because I don't know where the truth lies.
Okay.
I understand the point, but I just need to know where the truth is.
So, we have a motion and a second. Ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed to the law enforcement having access in the event of an emergency? Mr. White is opposed and Ms. Handy is opposed. Okay. Addition of the student representative to the school board.
Okay, we did the interviews last week. It was Karen, Taylor, Stella, and myself. We interviewed 2 students. These are 2 seniors that is already on the Student Advisory Council. One student from Arcadia, one student from Chincoteague. And both of them did very well. And so we wanted to see if they could co-represent. So we could have both of them on different times. One month, say for instance, April 16th, it would be the first meeting because if it's approved, then they have to have some training also. They have to have orientation. So April 16th, one of them would come, and then May 7th, the 21st, the 4th of June, and the 18th. So they would alternate, if that's okay with you, since it was only the 2 of them, and there's only 5 meetings.
Everybody?
I'm okay.
That good? Do we need to vote on that?
Yes, it's
okay. Okay, so there's it's not really written down, I apologize for that. There's the idea that we would have 2 student representatives that would attend in an alternating manner that would serve through the end of June. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation that 2 seniors that were interviewed alternate being the student representative for the remainder of this year.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And then,
And the other one, the reason I don't have these 2, I didn't have it in here written down, and we just talked about it today, is because I was going to do them on the superintendent's report, but then I realized that they really did probably require a vote since the calendar was voted on. Now, this one's a little bit shaky, but they're doing it all over the country, really. And that's the one I mentioned in the Friday update with the solar eclipse. It's going to be on April the 8th. And it's from they say about 2:12 to 4:23. That is right when everybody's dismissing. Middle school and high school are dismissing. Elementary will be dismissing. So what I am proposing is that we swap. We have an early out date already on April 17th. And what I'm proposing is that we swap those 2 days and let the kids out early on April the 8th so they can get home, because I cannot see that a kindergartner or a first grade is going to go out to the bus and not look up at the sign. And I don't know what kind of liability or what's going to come back at us if kids go home and say their eyes are hurting and things like that. So it's not like we're giving them anything. It's just like we're flip-flopping at the student day.
I will say, I think here it's just going to appear cloudy.
We did some research and it said about 75% of the moon will be, the sun will be covered by the moon. I just, like I said, I know when they're out on the bus, they're gonna look up. If they're coming out, they're gonna look up, and I just don't want anyone to say that we didn't try to be proactive. But, I mean, that's up to you because the calendar's already set for April the 17th, and it's just a matter of swapping those 2 days.
Was this on the agenda? Is this still on the agenda?
No, I put it in the Friday update.
Okay. So it's just I didn't recall seeing
I
this.
put in the Friday update that this was something that's been talked about around the state. What the question, the big question was, what are you going to do about April 8th and the solar eclipse? So I met with staff and it's like, okay, we need to come up with a plan to propose. And if it's no, it's no. We'll just keep them in there. And hopefully they'll have some glasses or something like that to come out with. But I don't, it's a safety issue to me.
And they're not actually losing days, you're just flipping.
No, we're just flipping 2 days. We're not losing anything, we're just flipping 2 days. Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the FY24 school year calendar change to swap the early out from April 17 to April 8.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, superintendent's report.
Okay, I have 2 things and then I want to respond to Mr. Weippert and Mr. Taylor's response a while ago. It's time for us to look at, we said we were going to rezone or look at rezoning Metompkins because they're having classes, special small groups are in the hallways and things like that. So we need to set up a task force. Mr. Brabazon has already done a lot of the groundwork looking at the lines, but now it's time for a group to get together and look at the numbers of kids that are at Chincoteague and at Accomack and see which way it's going to work. So I asked Ms. Turner for 2 board members to serve on that task force. And then the other one is our strategic plan expires in 2024. So we need to start working on a strategic plan. We've already developed areas that we might need to look at based on our comprehensive needs assessment. But now we need to put it, we're going to have a team to actually put together a plan. And I've already talked to the teacher advisory, my teacher advisory about it, and so they are aware of it. So, but I need 2 board members on that committee also. So, you can think about that.
I'll send you some names. If anybody's interested, please email me.
The other, and Mr. Weippert, by all means,
Do we know dates as far as?
No, I just need to get the committees together, and they're going to be after spring break, but I need to get the committees together.
And the meetings could be later in the day. I think that helps everyone.
Well, because we don't have to have Pam,
Yeah.
some teachers on it too. So, but I just want to get the 2.
Thank you.
As far as not bringing Mr. Brandon Holder here for the meeting, the way that we usually do, and you've seen the email trail that I have back and forth. What is the reason? Because as you saw, Mr. Bobby just presented, usually it's a presentation and then it's followed up with questions. When you say just questions, we don't know what questions, he didn't know what to prepare for or anything like that. So in talking to my advisor and some counsel, I was advised that I'm going to follow policy BDD, I think it's BDDC, BDDC. And all I was asking for is, what is the reason that he's coming? If you had said, or if you wanted to say, I need an update on where we are in food service, that would have been a reason, a rationale for him to come. And you saw that I had a placeholder on the agenda. So if he'd said, I want him to come and discuss what's happening, because we have discussed what's happening thus far. Ms. Taylor has 3 students, and but things are, like you said, it's not a whole lot of things that's happened because it's been a short period of time. But we are working to get things in order. So that is the reason why it's like we need it to be more developed. We have never summoned someone to come and stand before this board and be questioned like they're in a court of law. We always show them the respect of come, present, and then we ask questions. Whether it's 10 questions or whether it's 100 questions. So that's why I did not bring him before the board. And as far as Mr. Taylor, I understand respectfully that you are my boss. And when you ask me to do things, but I also have to have some integrity behind it, and I have to also support my people. And as you said, I am your one employee. Well, all of those other people are part of my cabinet. And all I'm asking for is respect for them. And I don't have a problem. Every time you've asked me to bring somebody to the board, I've done it. Mr. Weippert, you asked me to bring, I've done it. Lisa wanted the community college person, I've done it. But just to say, come, I want to ask you questions, that just wasn't according to policy B, D, and C. So I apologize if I offended you, but that's how I operate. I'm going to do things ethical, and I'm going to do things by policy.
What makes you think that we don't also support Brandon?
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't support him. I just asked the why. What did
you, in your email, you insinuated that we were going to humiliate him.
Because you call somebody to come up and stand before you, and they don't know why, they don't know what you're going to ask me, they don't know anything. That is nerve-wracking and humiliating. It's bad enough when they come and stand there when they know what basically the topic is, but when they come up there, Brandon's having a really hard time in the cafeteria. He's really working to try to bring things back together. And this was unnerving for him. It's like, what are we going to do? So this is the reason. But if you want him to come and do an update in another meeting, then that's fine, because there's a purpose to it. Why is he coming? To give an update. And it would be good to know, okay, the last time you were here, you said you had lost staff, you had this, you had that. So where are we now? And that's the conversation I had in our cabinet meeting. Where are we now? How can we help you? That's why we have culinary arts kids that are willing to come in and things like that. But it's just like, we just need to know what are we looking at and the why.
I think that was one of the suggestions that came out of Brandon being here when he said that he was short-staffed. We sent emails saying in other school divisions, they use the high school students. It's a little part-time job for them.
And we had talked about that
before. Have we made progress with that?
We've got the kids, Karen has gotten the kids, we decided where we're going to put them, and a couple here, one in another school. So we're all working on that. But then some other things have come up too.
Will that happen this year?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Jason.
I just want to say that, I respect what you said, Dr. Hall. The only thing I have an issue with is, being a boss, and you ask somebody to come forward, like somebody that obviously can't do work with you, and you call them to your office because you need to talk to them. I mean, you're not giving them a pregame. These are the questions I'm going to ask you before you come to my office. That's kind of how I feel. I'm going to give them the questions. I'm just going to ask them how we can help and what has changed. I'm not here to grill him and make him feel embarrassed or whatever. Like I said, he has a very important job and a very hard job. I support him 100%. But like I said, nobody needs a pregame. I mean, that's why he gets paid what he paid, and that's why we all get paid what we paid. So you need to have your answers because you're in that position.
I agree. But
you know what I mean? Like I said, having the questions beforehand, it's like, well, let me pregame and make sure I have an answer.
no, it's the why. Why do you need me to come? And like I said, when you made your statement a while ago, you said, I would like for him to have given an update. That's the reason why you wanted him to come. And after he came and gave an update, any questions, but there was no reason for him to come.
My thing is, why do I have to say that? Why do I have to say I want an update? Why can't we just say, any of us say, we want somebody to come here because we want to talk to them and ask them a couple questions or whatever? I don't understand.
So,
Yes. I think the protocol is for you to call on us before we just kind of go back and forth. So thank you for recognizing me. One of the aspects of this discussion that I'm challenged by is if we want a status, if as a board member, I'm asking if my understanding is correct. If I have questions or I want an update, I have complete access to staff outside of the meetings. The meetings are not my only opportunity to get an update, to ask questions. I've done this. Is that a correct understanding?
That is one way to get information. That is, you're correct. You may contact a staff member, and that is one way. But when there is a larger
Okay, so thank you for answering.
Yes, when there is a larger discussion, it's nice to have the person here so we can all participate in the discussion. And I believe that there is benefit from group discussion. I believe that there's benefit from this discussion right now.
Well, I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I have that paper trail, and you see that I back and forth, back and forth. Please tell me what, why do you need him to come? What is the purpose of the meeting? And then we can move forward from there. So I think I did things that I needed to do, and to move on. Yes.
And I too, respect what you said earlier. And the way I looked at it was, we asked Mr. Bennett to come. What are we going to ask him? There's different school facilities, different projects he's working on. I can see that with Brandon, it's food services. So obviously we're going to ask him questions about food services. So, to me, when he asked for Brandon to come, he should just come and answer the questions that we have. I mean, it's,
But Mr., he was here for over an hour. He was about 45 minutes. He did a full-blown presentation on food service. I don't know what other questions there were to ask about food service. So the next step would be, what have you done? What is since this meeting? There was no reason. Nothing said why you want me to come. That's what I'm saying. Bobby knew why. We had talked about it even before you had sent the email today and asked him the question. We had already talked about him coming and why he would come tonight. So it's just a matter of showing kind of courtesy to everybody involved to know why of what something's going to happen. So, but if this is just, like I said, ethically, this is, I just felt like he just needed to know, not necessarily the questions, but he just needed to know what was the purpose. And I think anybody in a leadership position, if you're being summoned to your boss's office, or if you're being summoned somewhere, you want to know at least why. I can call to a school and say, tell the principal, can you come down to my office? I need to talk to you about X, Y, and Z. They don't know what questions to ask, but at least they know the why they're coming. So that's all.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move to a meeting adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.